Hello, so welcome to Golf FM. This is a test on the new G440 iron against the G430 iron. So this is an obvious test which people want to know the answer to. Should be obvious because Ping, you would think, might have put the G430 up against the new one themselves and been satisfied that it is actually better and ready for the marketplace. But we still want to see that for ourselves. So we've got a price difference to start with because you can get this a little bit cheaper than it used to be. The G430, that is coming in about $829 and the new ones are about $1,049 for the same 7-iron set, both in steel. So that's a £220 saving, so it's quite significant. These are both the same loft, 29 degrees for a 7-iron, which is strong, but it's not unusual. That's what a lot of clubs are these days, game improvement clubs. This is mass market club. This is their all things to everyone club, a club that should fit lots and lots of golfers across the board. Very forgiving, very strong, very powerful. They are also the same length, these clubs, but the G440 irons do get a little bit longer as they go up 654 than the corresponding G430 iron. What they're saying is that this is so forgiving, this G440 head, that they can make the shafts a little bit longer and you won't notice a thing has happened other than you're hitting them further. It's not going to make that much difference, an eighth of an inch, it's not very much. And my own theory is that you should keep clubs as short as you can get away with because you hit the middle of the club more often. But obviously Ping are saying, well, you effectively will be hitting the middle of the club because it's so forgiving. Anyway, be that as it may, that's what they've done. These are the same, so it's a good test. I've got a similar shaft in them. I've got the Dynamic Gold 100 Mid S300 shaft in the G440, and I've got a very similar shaft, the Dynamic Gold 105 S300 in the G430. I didn't have exactly the same shaft to fit into each because they've changed the fitment on this. The only other thing that's interesting is they now do a sand wedge in the G440 that looks a little bit like the Ping i2 shape from years ago. So that's quite a nice addition. So I'll get on and hit these and see what I think. I think we'll go G430 first. And just a couple of other things on the G440. It's got the Pure Flex badge. Again, slightly advanced version to make the strike feel a bit softer, and it's got a thinner face than the G430. So again, anytime you make the face thin, that's giving you more ball speed. It's supposed to be more forgiving, and you can also get retro lofts in it, which retro lofts are quite good because they can quite often give you a little bit better launch and a better descent angle, but you maybe don't lose any distance. It's not necessarily that less loft's going to make it go less distance. It might suit your spin characteristics and end up giving you a better all-round shot. But I'm going to do the G430 first, get that out of the way, and then we'll do G440. Actually, also let's put them head to head now, just in terms of looks. In terms of the back of them, I think the G440 is a big improvement. It's got this glossy chrome section coupled to that satin finish that's all over the G430. It is even more understated and it looks sleeker and just better, just looks nicer. It looks less like a full-on cavity back. It's leaning towards the cat back design that a lot of the other models are employing now, where you can't see the goings on underneath, where you can't see the cavity, but it is there. So this is all but the same way, slightly less than the catback designs of some models, but the G430 is much more traditional in the way you can actually still put your finger in and feel the actual cavity in there. G430 is nice, but this is just, I would say, an improvement. I would definitely say an improvement. In terms of the soles, pretty similar look. You would be hard pressed to tell them apart, to be honest. Top line, hard pressed to tell them apart. Head size, hard pressed to tell them apart. Offset, very little difference. In fact, yeah, they are very, very similar to look at when you put them down. Possibly G440 slightly sleeker in some way, but I'm not even sure now I'm saying that. When I swap them round, I'm not even sure that is the case. They're really, really similar. And I said on one of my other videos, I think that G440 could appeal to slightly lower handicaps potentially than it traditionally would have been aimed at, because there is very little offset and not too thick a top line. And it's the same really with the G430. It is. But I think just the back of the G440 being a bit sleeker and a bit more covered in, starting to look a little bit more like player's distance iron than it is just a traditional cavity, which appeals to lower handicaps a lot of the time. Anyway, G430, let's see how this goes. That was a nice strike. A little bit out to the right, but a solid strike out the centre. Felt nice, felt not like in any way a forged club or anything like that. It didn't feel soft as that, but it didn't feel clattery and hard. Felt perfectly nice, solid, not massively soft, but nice. 171, 184. Not a great strike. Don't know if we'll be keeping that one in straight, but 171, 184, that's good. I mean, that's a good sign. I did not hit that particularly well, and it kept the distance in, and that's the key to a forgiving club, is can it keep the distance in when you don't hit it that badly. So when you don't hit it that well, so when you hit one on line like that, you know you haven't hit it, it still gets to the front of the green. Again, a little bit clean, a similar strike. It wasn't perfect. What's it done? 168, 180. So yeah, I just lost a bit there because I didn't get it quite right. We'll leave it in. It's acceptable. That felt nice. That was a slightly more centered strike. A little bit left, so I might get a little bit more distance out of that because of the fact that it de-lofted it slightly. So yeah, 173, 187. But interestingly, that was one out of the middle, and it did feel quite nice. It felt not like a forged club, but a nice feel. Not massively soft, but not hard or clattery or unpleasant in any way. Perfectly nice. Decent strike. Nice straight shot. Feels nice. Not an unpleasant club to hit, it really isn't. 172, 185, and good all-round looks. It's just a good all-rounder, you know, it's not too thick a top line, but it's still got a big enough club head and enough there that it would look forgiving and reassuring to some people. It's a good all-rounder. What was that? 172, 185. I think it was quite good. A little bit to the right. Yeah, 168, 181. It's got to keep it in because the official lower bar is 180, so that was 181. And if you've not seen my videos before and you're wondering why is he going on about total distance, totally irrelevant total distance. It isn't if you play in certain places. And if you play at Gullen in Scotland and you play at the East Links in North Berwick, that figure, the total distance, is kind of what I work with. Unless it's really been raining for days and everything's really soft. It's normal dry conditions. 7-iron will land at 170, say, big first bounce because the ground's quite hard, and then it'll start to spin and stop, and it'll end up going about 180, 183. It's just what happens. So I'm in the habit of quoting the total distance, but I realise that in certain courses that you're playing on, it's a total irrelevance. And I know carry is ultimately more important. So that was a counter, 170, 183. Decent strike again. Does feel nice. Absolutely nothing wrong with the feel of this. 170 for 182. Decent strike again. Maybe not as middled, but it went a bit left, so that might make up for it in terms of the distance. Yeah, look at that, 177, 191. Oh, we'll leave it in because we had some that were a wee bit on the low side, so that'll make up for it. It wasn't that far left. What was it? How many yards left? 9 yards left, which for me is not bad at all. Oh, a nice strike again. Nice straight shot. It does feel nice. There's a nice crack of it, but it's not dead soft. 173, 187. Yeah, decent shot. Should be a counter. Even got a slight club twirl there, did I? Getting cocky now. 175, 189. Right, good wee batch there, over and done fairly easily. Let's see how we go with the G440. So come on G440, this is it. Engineers spent years working on you, and now the acid test is here, the Golf FM test. The only test that matters. Okay, never mind your £150 million robots, gone up in price. 150 were 50 million last week. £150 million robots testing, this is actually where it matters. So down behind the ball, nice. Looks nicer than the G430. That's a more attractive club. That makes me want to hit it. There's something nicer about it. Similar, but slightly nicer. So well done, Ping. That was an okay strike. A little bit left, so it might go a little bit further. It felt nice. Yeah, 178, 192. Leave it in because I hit one like that, similar with the G430. I think it possibly felt a little bit better. There wouldn't be a lot in it though. Oh, that felt nice. That was a proper shot. She's done a club twirl there. 174, 188. Felt nice. Again, not quite forged level or anything like that, but nice level of feel. Not maybe as good a shot, but it'll go a little bit left, so slightly de-lofted, might go quite far again. 174, 187. Definitely a nicer looking head. Decent, I think. Quite straight. And a 176-189. So I'm just feeling like it maybe is a bit hotter off the face, potentially. Decent stripe, a little bit right, is it? Oh no, it's quite good. It's a nice feel, nice solid feel. You wouldn't be disappointed with a set of these terms of feel. 172, 186. Not a perfect strike. Have a look at it, see what it does. If it gets to 180, then we'll have to keep it in, I think. Yeah, 168, 181. So again, just similar to what the G430 was doing when I didn't hit it as well. Decent strike, but I wouldn't say flush mode central or anything like that. 174, 180, that's good considering how I hit it. It's gone a little bit left, so that might explain a little bit of distance, but still, it wasn't hit that well. I think that was okay. Yeah, nice straight shot, straight-ish. 177, 190, it's good. 18 shots so far, so a couple more. Not perfect, maybe a bit too much matte on that. Still got 171, 185 out of it. That's where these clubs over, like a set I had earlier in the year, the Ping Blueprint S, where if you'd hit it like that, it'd have come down 20 yards, 30 yards nearly short of where it would normally go. And I just couldn't live with that. So that's why I'm using i530s now. I'll have to do a test i530 BVs, see what difference there is, if any. Okay, but I mean not FMC, flush mode central. 170 for 183, and that's 20. So we're done. Gut feeling was it was going a little bit further. Definitely looks better. Feel, I don't know whether it was just in my head, but possibly felt a little bit better. But let's see what the figures say. So we've got 118 miles an hour ball speed on the G430 as opposed to 119 on the G440. But let's have a look at the swing speeds average. Oh, and we had 85 swing speed average on the G430 for a slower ball speed. So we've got 83 average on the batch that hit with the G440, and that came out as 1 mile an hour faster. So that is good for the G440. That's showing that potentially they've managed to gain a bit of speed off the face, which is good news. Well done. Congratulations to the engineers on that one. 17 degrees launch on the G430 and 18 on the G440, so nothing really to bother about there. 5.3 spin on the G430 and 5.266, so very, very similar on that front. Not launching significantly or spinning any different, very similar. Carry 172 on the G430 and 173 on the G440, but when you consider that the batch was a slower swing speed, again, that's good. It's gone a tiny bit further. And total distance 185 and 187, even though I know you don't really want to hear that. Descent angle 42 on the G430 and 44 on the G440, which is good again. So it did launch 1 degree higher, so you would think it would come down a little bit steeper as well, but that's a good sign because you want it to stop. So yeah, on average there, the G440 looks the better club. So it's just a case of, is that small difference, because it is a small difference, worth £220 to you? Do you like the looks of this so much better than that? And do you think that the performance is worth £220? I personally think that's enough to justify it, if I'm being honest, because I think overall the package, the G440, is sleeker and nicer and a lovelier thing than the G430. I know that's in the eye of the beholder. I know that some people could like this more, the G430, but in my head that is an improvement in looks. This feel, I think it was possibly a little bit nicer, but I'm grasping at straws a little bit. It's not significantly nicer, if it is at all. And in terms of the ultimate speed that this G440 is producing, then I think there is a little bit of distance in it. I think at the same loft and the same length, it is actually going a little bit further. So that's not a bad thing. So if you are a G430 owner and you like changing your clubs and you don't care about the money, then there is a little bit of benefit for you. So in summary, yes, I think the G440 is worth that little bit extra money. And I know mine only showed 1 yard. Was it 1 yard? 1 yard in carry, but it was 2 miles an hour less swing speed doing that. So I think all things being equal, £150 million robot, this would be going a little bit further than this G430 to the point where you might slightly notice it. You might slightly notice it. I know you're not hitting less club, but when you don't quite get out the middle, it might get further up the front of the green than just on the fringe. So I hope that was helpful. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments and I'll get back to you. And once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.